The drama begins by introducing 5 handsome and popular boys in school: Toshi, Takui, Jun, Nao, and Kojiro. They are known as Men's Five and are famous for being the desired boyfriends of many girls in college. One day, a girl is being bothered by some boys outside the school. Takui arrives on the scene, fights the troublemakers, and rescues the girl. Toshi, the most handsome of the group, shows up and asks the girl to go with him while his friends handle the situation. Meanwhile, a new girl named Hina, who transferred due to her father's new job placement, is rushing to the same school. When she arrives, she spots Toshi with that girl, and she's happy, thinking she's witnessing love and friendship in the school, which she had always dreamed of. Right then, the school director informs Hina that she's been placed in Class A. He also mentions that she might feel something strange about that class, but she'll get used to it. As Hina is heading to class, she again sees Toshi, but this time with another girl, making her suspicious of him. She then decides to be cautious around him. Next, Nao gathers the boys and informs them about Hina, the new girl at school. He mentions her history of transferring from various schools and emphasizes the importance of making her feel welcome. Toshi, the most popular and handsome among the boys, expresses excitement at the prospect of the new girl's arrival, finding it intriguing. Later, when Hina arrives in Class A, she is shocked to learn that the class consists entirely of boys. The boys in the class applaud and cheer for her as she enters, but the school director advises her not to pay too much attention to the commotion. She's then directed to take a seat by the window. The Men's Five boys, led by Takui, get wind of the new girl's presence and decide to pay her a visit. As they open the classroom door, Hina spots Toshi among them. Nao recognizes Hina as the new student, and he enthusiastically hugs her, complimenting her on her beauty. Takui humorously points out that Nao is hugging her as if they were lovers. Afterward, Toshi steps closer to Hina and, in a bold move, takes off her glasses. He then compliments her, saying that she looks even more beautiful without them. However, instead of being flattered, Hina becomes angry and slaps Toshi. She then sternly informs him that she is not like other girls and warns him to keep his distance. Jun and Nao express their admiration for Hina's unique response to Toshi, appreciating her independent spirit. Toshi challenges her, asking her to prove how she's different from other girls by breaking her glasses. Hina is left confused and begins to regret her decision to attend this school, wondering about the consequences of her actions. Following the end of one of her classes, Hina notices some girls from other classes approaching the Men's Five boys, and she realizes that these 5 boys are immensely popular in the school due to their good looks, attracting the attention of all the girls. Hina then decides to join the Men's Five boys, causing jealousy among the other girls. Toshi casually remarks that it's not his fault if she's fallen in love with him, to which Hina firmly denies any romantic interest and walks away. Meanwhile, Jun warns Hina that by associating with the Men's Five boys, she may have made many enemies. He suggests they accompany her home, but she declines the offer and chooses to go home alone. On her way home, Hina encounters a group of unfamiliar boys who start attacking her. As she attempts to flee, Toshi intervenes and fights off the attackers, coming to her rescue. Jun also arrives there and mentions that he had previously warned her about the potential consequences. Afterward, Toshi offers to escort Hina home, and she reluctantly agrees. During their walk, they encounter some girls who inquire about Hina's identity. Toshi, in a playful manner, introduces Hina as his girlfriend, but the girls tease him for being a playboy and question when he'll leave her. In response, Hina reprimands the girls, causing them to leave. Toshi compliments Hina, suggesting that she's cool and perhaps in love with him. However, Hina asserts that she doesn't need his protection and instructs him to leave. Toshi complies with her request and leaves. The following day, a girl approaches Hina and insists on talking to her. Hina agrees, and the girl leads her out of the classroom. Meanwhile, Toshi arrives in the classroom and becomes aware that Hina has been taken by the girl from the previous day, and he worries that she may be mistreated. He then rushes to find Hina. In the meantime, the girls are bullying Hina and demanding that she stay away from Toshi. However, before they can harm Hina, Toshi arrives and saves her. Next, we see a group of students keeping an eye on Hina being bullied by Men's 5 fangirls through CCTV cameras. The mysterious group believes that Hina is a brave girl and assures that her confrontation with the fangirls in the upcoming days will be interesting. In the next scene, Takui enters the classroom carrying a bunch of snacks and spills them in front of his friends. He explains that he received the snacks from the cafeteria lady as a reward for his excellent performance in the exam. Hearing this, the other boys in Men's 5 playfully tease him for getting close to the cafeteria lady. In response, Takui declares that he will soon become friends with Hina and even make her fall in love with him. Just then, Hina enters the room and expresses her disappointment in being a lone lady in the class. She laments that no matter whom she cheers for among the Men's 5 members, their female fans give her hostile looks and even threaten her. Sometime later, Hina sits alone on the bench outside. Takui approaches her, offering a coffee drink and trying to console her. Hina opens up to him about her lack of friends and her loneliness. Right then, Nao and the other Men's 5 members appear and propose to be Hina's friends. Hina, pleasantly surprised, quickly accepts their offer. She then shakes hands with them, commencing their friendship. As they all head back to the classroom, Hina returns the coffee drink to Takui and explains that she's not allowed to consume caffeinated beverages because they could affect her memory and alter her personality. In the classroom, the class teacher informs the students about the upcoming exams and advises them to be vigilant against potential physical attacks from students in other classes. He adds that the school won't take responsibility for such confrontations and encourages students to defend themselves. Hina finds this strange and mentions her intention to discuss the matter with the school chairman. However, the Men's 5 members clarify that the chairman is also involved in these issues, and talking to him is of no use. In the evening, Takui accompanies Hina to her house, protecting her. After she departs, he sits on a bench, lost in thought about her. Just then, Toshi arrives and inquires about what Takui is doing. The latter casually mentions he's enjoying the fresh air and starts talking about Hina, revealing that he knows her quite well. This surprises Toshi and leaves him feeling regretful for having ignored Hina throughout the day. The following day, when Men's 5 enters the school with Hina, they become the target of attacks from other students. The students are doing so because they want Men's 5 to lower their grades and join them in their classes. Despite this, the Men's 5 manages to protect Hina and reach the exam room safely. After the exams, the girls surround the 5 boys and take them away from the classroom. But before leaving, Takui asks Hina to wait for their return. Once the boys depart, a girl approaches Hina and extends a friendly hand, proposing to be her friend. Hina, taken by surprise and overjoyed, readily accepts the offer, believing that she finally made a female friend. She then follows her new friend on their way home. Later, when the boys return to the classroom, they notice Hina's note on the blackboard and are delighted to see that she has made her first female friend. Meanwhile, Hina's new friend leads her to the school's basement and asks her to wait for a short while. Suddenly, someone attacks Hina from behind with a taser gun, rendering her unconscious. Next, Toshi arrives late to the classroom and is approached by the same girl who befriended Hina earlier. She informs Toshi that Hina has fallen unconscious and asks for his help. Concerned, Toshi follows her, only to be led into a room and get locked from the outside. Inside the room, he finds Hina unconscious and takes her onto his lap. Toshi attempts to open the door and call Takui for help, but the door won't open and the room has no phone signal. Suddenly, the lights go out, and Toshi becomes frightened. He reaches for Hina's hand and admits his fear of the dark, asking her to hold his hand. Hina agrees and holds his hand reassuringly. The next morning, when they wake up in the locked room, Toshi is surprised to see Hina sleeping peacefully and admires her carefree nature. Meanwhile, the other members of the Men's 5 group, except Takui, are also brought to the room and locked inside. In the classroom, Takui learns about his friends being captured and sets out to find and rescue them, encountering toffees along the way. Later, the leader of the opposing group, Miyashita, arrives to meet Toshi. Devising a plan to escape the situation, Toshi lies to him, claiming that Hina fell into a coma after being attacked with a stun gun. Miyashita is terrified, and Toshi seizes the opportunity to suggest making Hina drink a cup of coffee. When Hina takes a sip of coffee, she suddenly awakens and effortlessly defeats the boys. It is true that the coffee changes her personality. Following this, Takui also arrives in time to assist her. In the next scene, the exam results are announced, and as usual, the men's 5 group ranks among the top performers. Hina is surprised by her 19th position, considering they all faced similar circumstances during the exams. At this moment, we discover the identities of the mysterious group members: Komuro Kana, Nakagome Etsu, Nakagome Mitsu, and Yamachika Toru. They hold positions on the student executive board and were behind the attacks on men's 5 and Hina. The story then shifts to the next day, and Hina is excited to learn that the school is having a sports festival. She expresses her desire to participate in group activities since she has never done so before. The men's 5 boys also agree to be with her. Later, all of them enter the school's computer lab to try and find information about the games and their locations by hacking into the student executive board's database. However, they are interrupted when Yamachika and the other board members enter the room and confront them for their actions. Yamachika, who is the board's president, tries to approach Hina, but Toshi pushes him away. Etsu then apologizes for the president's behavior and invites Hina to join the event. Moving forward to the sports event, the student board members explain the rules of the game. Each class needs to select a representative to compete in different parts of the game. Before the competition begins, Hina gathers her class representatives and motivates them to do their best. The event starts with Tairaku successfully solving challenging equations in the first round. Afterward, the participants must reach a flag placed on a nearby hill, and whichever team reaches first wins the event. Next, the event begins, and Hina and her team face numerous challenges and attacks as they make their way towards the flag. Unfortunately, a couple of their teammates get injured during the journey. Toshi suggests leaving the injured members behind, but Hina refuses and decides to help them by providing bandages and ointment. Later, Toshi and Hina reach the final hill and discuss their plan to reach the flag. Suddenly, Miyashita appears and attacks Toshi, warning him to stay away from Hina. While they fight, Hina inadvertently slips down a steep hill and screams. Fortunately, Toshi hears her cry for help and comes to her rescue. Meanwhile, Tairaku and the other boys also engage in battles with their opponents, successfully making their way to the final location. Eventually, Toshi and Hina reach the flag at the destination, securing the win for their team in the sports event. In the final scene, the victorious team celebrates their success, and Hina is overjoyed to win her first sports event. Takui and Toshi admire Hina's positive attitude and now invites them to a party. The episode concludes with all the team members gathering around a campfire and preparing a delicious dinner.